Have you heard about Brian McLaren's newest book? It's called Naked Spirituality, A Life with God in 12 Simple Words.
No. I cannot stand it. That pathetic heretic is at it again? He seems to come out with a new book every year or so. He is more productive than a pair of rabbits. He must not have much of a social life. Work, work, work.
I don't consider him a heretic. But yes, he has another book out. Why do you call him a heretic? Which of his books have you ever read?
Well, I haven't actually read any of his books. But I've heard what my favorite radio preachers say about him. And I've read what people write about his books on my favorite discernment websites. And I've read all his one-star reviews on Amazon.com. So I know exactly what he thinks, and I consider myself an expert on his many theological errors. So I have no interest in reading any of the garbage he has written. Why do you read theological filth like this?
Actually, McLaren's books have helped me a great deal. I had a lot of questions and doubts about my faith, and I was thinking about giving up on church entirely. But one of your fellow students wrote a paper on McLaren's books, and that stimulated my curiosity. So I started reading him a few years ago. The first book I read was called A Generous Orthodoxy.
I've heard of it, but I heard it was too strong on generosity and not strong enough on orthodoxy.
I've come to believe that without generosity, your orthodoxy isn't worth much, and all true orthodoxy must be generous. But I respect your right to hold a different viewpoint. What was that?
I think some students are partying outside in the hall. What else have you read by that stupid heretic McLaren?
Then I read his new kind of Christian trilogy, and then The Secret Message of Jesus.
There's another sign of how wrong McLaren is. There aren't any secrets to Jesus' message. It's all clear and straightforward.
In the book, McLaren quotes the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, verse 11, where Jesus talks about the secret of the kingdom of God. That's what the book is about, Jesus' message of the kingdom of God. Anyway, then I read his book A New Kind of Christianity, which I found extremely thought-provoking. That's why I'm looking forward so much to reading Naked Spirituality, A Life with God in 12 Simple Words.
I strongly advise you against reading this book. Did you know that some churches forbid their members to read books by Brian McLaren? Doesn't that tell you something? Wow, that's some party out there.
Well, again, I respect your freedom to disagree. But I'm looking forward to reading the book anyway. Maybe someday you will find yourself in the same situation I was in, with questions and a feeling that something is missing.
No, I have all the answers I need and I'm very satisfied with my spiritual life just the way it is. I know I'm on the right track, but I can't say the same for you.
Well, thanks for coming by. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, yes. One other thing. I have fallen in love with your daughter and I'm planning to ask her to marry me. Do we have your blessing?